don't need to see my place or my butt. Woo! Oh, that was epic. Didn't that feel quite epic? I feel like I'm ready for anything. Whoa, are you ready for a weird, wild comedy show? I thought so. I thought so. We're coming at you anyways. I'm Brooke Barcel. I'm the host. I'm here in Omaha, Nebraska. The back line is in Omaha, Nebraska, 16th and Harney. Really cute improv theater. You can take classes. You can do the open mics. We're starting to open up live a little bit. So if you're in town, if you're in Omaha, come to the back line. Otherwise, we're online. Yeah, it both headline. Anywho, I'm glad to be here. We've got a really fun comedy show. I've got 3 amazing people that we are going to showcase. You'll get to see a pretty long set from all of them. So that's going to be exciting. But first, I'm just going to tell you a few little jokeroonies, a few of my own hootie ha-has, like little, those tricks you put up your sleeve, but they're like well written and crafted, and then you act them out so they're interesting and fun to watch. Anywho, I'm Brooke. Like I said, I spell it with an E. Sometimes I'll spell it wrong. I know. And then I'm broke. Yeah, I need at least 2 O's really to be whole. Yeah.
Oh.
If I'm reaching for the stars, I'd say 69 O's, You could call me Brooke. Brooke.
Oh.
If you want to, or just Brooke with 2 O's is sufficient. I went to ministry school for a while. Yeah. And I got some tattoos. I got tattooed. I got pure. And then I got holy. Pure and holy. Got them a couple of weeks before I got kicked out. Yeah. Thought I wasn't what they call pure, and I was a little bit too holy, if you know what I mean. Father, Son, and anywho. Well, I was trying to spread the word, to be honest. Like I was like listening and taking notes, and they're like, be fruitful and multiply and spread thy seeds, and so Matthew, sure, okay. And then Luke, and then obviously John, and James and Peter, Paul, and like all of the Galatians. And Joachim. I know. And then Mary. Yeah. She was fun. Bloody Mary though. Little bit bloody. Not scared though. Not scared. That was something I added, and I don't know if I will ever say that addition again. I'm also a substitute teacher. Yeah. Substitute teacher. Some people have me pegged for a dom. Yeah. I'm pretty dominant in my regular life, so I like to kind of, switch the roles up a little bit. No, as a teacher, I get like a list of what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to teach this lesson, do this from 8 to 8:30, do this from 8:30 to 8:55, and then bathroom break, like very structured. First day, Monday morning, 4th grade. Supposed to read this out loud, and I'm like, okay, everyone, let's listen. So I'm reading it, and it's from chapter Luke. I remember Luke. Woo! And okay, so this is what happened. Like Jesus came to town. Everyone's like, oh, cool, Jesus is here. And they're like, check out this guy. And he wasn't like, okay, this guy was chained up to the graves and like foaming at the mouth and not really good with others. For a long time, he had been like an outcast of the society. I think he was like a zombie. Like I'm paraphrasing a smidge. For the kids, I just said it verbatim, right? So Jesus casts out the demons, all of the demons out of this man. And then all the demons go into these pigs. And then the pigs, it's like 6,000 pigs, 6,000. Okay. They all commit mass suicide together. That was Monday morning. And I'm like, okay. And then the kids had questions, are demons real? Like, can we cast them out? And I had been to ministry school. And before I got kicked out, I learned stuff. I did. I learned a lot. Specifically how to do these things, how to cast out the demons and how to raise the dead and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, and this one kid's like, I have allergies. And I was like, that's a spirit of hay fever. I think I have just the gemstone for that. And I had a stone in my pocket. And then this other kid was like, my mom says I have ADHD. And I was like, that's actually a spirit. I think we can do this together. So all of us, we got up together and we made a star. We made a star shape together in the classroom. We kind of had to move some of the chairs, wiggle wag them around. We put the stones down. We called upon like the wind. So I had like one kid just start farting, Yeah, and then the principal came in and I was like, oh, let's just do math. Moved everything back real quick. It's a fun idea, right? Like not all of that's true. But some of it, you can decide which is true for you. I also taught kindergarten. This is like a week or two later. And the kindergartners are deep. Like they want to know stuff. They want to know like, how did the pyramids get there? Is there really a lost city of Atlantis? Okay, and then I get to do a read aloud. The book's called Pigs from the Pond, or Pig in the Pond. Yeah, Pig in the Pond. Pig really wants to get in the pond. Beginning of the story, there's a farmer. Then you don't really see him again. Most of the story is the pig just like sweating and like begging to get in the pond. It really like wants to get wet like all the other animals. It's like, why can't I be in the pond? Why can't I be wet like them? I want in. And we're like, what's going to happen next? And the kids are like, I think the pig's going to jump in. And I'm like, that's a good guess. I feel like I'm not going to give the story justice in less than a minute. But I do want to tell you that the pig got in the water. We knew that was going to happen. But then the farmer showed up and he takes off his shoes and his hat and his coat. And I'm like turning the pages and he takes off his shirt and he turned the page. He takes off his pants and he turned the page. And then he took off his underwear. And the kids really had a problem with that. They were like, why is he taking off his underwear, miss? You try to explain that. I'd like to tell you that we had a seance, and we spoke to the man, but what I honestly explained to them, literacy structure, there was only one main character and that was the man. The rest were animals. It was his farm, his pond, his pig. But yeah, an old man shouldn't. See, it's just not enough time to really give it justice. Stay in school. Yeah. Be nice if you have a substitute teacher. You don't know what she has to go through that day. Y'all ready for a comedy show? Thank you. That was my fun and layered set. We're gonna move on. I didn't do this on purpose, but apparently all of our comedians have somehow and for some time part of their lives been in New Jersey. Not all of them are there now, but I think New Jersey just has a way, right, of making people kind of like Chicago, right? Like maybe it's the pressure, all the people in one place. I don't know, but this is kind of neat. I'm excited for this. This will be really cool. I'm even gonna sit down and laugh really hard. First comedian, actually second because I was the first. But our next comedian, she is from New Jersey, now living in Rochester, New York. Very, very funny. Please put your hands together for Emma Paxton.
Hey everyone, thank you, Brooke, for having me. Really appreciate it. I'm just gonna warn everyone, if you people do not laugh, I have my own laugh track and I'm not afraid to use it.
Nice.
No, you guys ever noticed how like comedians are obsessed with analogies? They basically just tell analogies all day. Like an analogy to a stand-up comedian is like, oh no, I didn't do well on that part of the SATs. But stand-up comedians are obnoxious, right? Like Stand-up comedians are essentially like professional complainers. Like you go up on stage, complain for an hour, you're a stand-up comedian. Make sure to act really superior, kind of like I'm doing right now. Talk about the most private areas of your life, the most private parts of your body in front of complete strangers. You're a comedian. Repeat things a lot. Repeat things a lot. You're a comedian. So you guys like memes? Who likes memes? Everyone? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be weird if someone said, no, I hate memes. But memes are the best, right? Like, memes have taught me two things. One, not as alone as I thought. Two, definitely not as original as I thought. Everyone thinks they're an introvert now. I'm such an introvert because I'm like really quiet. Oh, so you're a person? I'm such an introvert because I like to read sometimes. You mean like everyone? Basically. So I was listening to the radio because I enjoy hearing the same song 20 million times in a row. I'm anti-variety, I'm anti-complexity. It's gotten to the point where they like remake the sad songs. They have to add a thumping behind it. It could be the saddest song. It could be like, all my friends are dead. Like, what? Our society, we're not allowed to feel sad for 5 seconds, just an emotion you're not allowed to have. Just be compulsively happy all the time. But I was listening to the radio and Coldplay was on. And Coldplay sounded like really upbeat and peppy. I kind of remember when Coldplay was a little bit more subdued, melancholy, somber. You know, that was really back in the day. That was back when they were old play. But yeah, I was in an Uber. Are you allowed to give an Uber driver a bad rating for listening to pop country? Because I wanted to. He had some candy in the center console, some candy right there. I kind of remember being a kid being told to not take candy from strangers in cars. It was sweet of him. But yeah, you know, again with the radio stuff, like I was listening to the radio a different time. And it's like the only songs they're playing are love songs. It's basically the only topic you're allowed to sing about, apparently. It's just like, do people actually mean what they're saying in these love songs? Because I'm not seeing the evidence of it out in real life. Like just once I wanted to be realistic, like to me, you're the best in the world, the best? I don't know about the best. I mean, there's always room for improvement. I need you day and night. Okay, if I said that, I would be labeled clingy and codependent. I'd walk 1,000 miles just to see you. 1,000 miles. I can't even get you to walk 2 steps to talk to me. 1,000 miles. Let's start with a quarter mile. But you know, emotional cheating is a thing, apparently. But I kind of feel like emotional cheating is the only type of cheating a guy would actually enjoy. Like, how'd your girlfriend cheat on you? She talked about her feelings with someone else. Oh my God, how do I get my girlfriend to cheat on me? I would hope she would cheat on me 7 days a week. Like, I would drive her to the motel to be cheated on. Like, I would get a Hilton's reward card just to have her cheat on me. But you know, I kind of want to get engaged, but not to actually get engaged. I just want the likes on Facebook.
You get a lot, like so many.
I know. That's, you know, we're all pretending we don't need the validation or want it, but hey, hi, it's comedy. That's basically what it's about. / that's what social media is about, and it's very addicting, and I don't need to go on a whole thing about that anyway. But yeah, you know, like what if I got some like off-brand Cheerios the other day? Like some of these off-brand cereals, like kind of similar to the original. Lucky O's instead of Lucky Charms. Similar taste profile. Some of these other off-brand cereals, nothing like the original cereal. Like off-brand Cheerios, like nothing could be farther from the taste than real Cheerios. Always come in that like sketchy packaging. It kind of reminds me when I was a kid and my mom was like, I got some, she never got real junk food. Instead of Lucky O's, it was Lucky Charms. And instead of like fruit by the foot, it was like organic fruit leather. So when my mom said she got real Oreos, I was like jumping for glee, like had childlike glow. So my mom never got stuff like that. Other kids at the lunch table, they had like Lunchables. Like no one's trading you for seed bread. So when I walked over to the kitchen, I was like running, so excited. And then I saw the packaging. Mom, these are not Oreos. These are Newman's Own organic sandwich O's, and they taste nothing like real Oreos. These are not the cool cookie. And I'm still suffering from that. Childhood abuse is rough. So when my boyfriend said he got some off-brand Cheerios, these are nothing like Cheerios. These are Drearios. It's sad, I was looking for jobs the other day and I came across like Subway sandwich artists, like really Subway sandwich artist. That's like saying Four Seasons porta potty. Like it just does not exist. Da Vinci can make a Subway sandwich and it would still taste like a gas station. That's why they're next to gas stations, because they taste like one.
Gross.
You ever walked into a Subway and then walked out? It takes about an average of 300 showers just to get the smell off. Fun Snapple fact about me. They actually filmed a Subway commercial in my house. That's right. I was 11 years old and Jared was in my house and I was in Florida. Thank God. And I used to brag about it too. I used to be like, they filmed a Subway commercial in my house. And then the news about Jared came about and I never bragged about it again.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It's like I was watching this, wedding show and it just made me think like about weddings and all that stuff and about like vows and how weird weddings are in general. Just like, oh, here, why don't you share the most like personal, intimate thing that you would share with one person, share it with a bunch of people who are probably rolling their eyes, want to barf, or secretly jealous. Like, shouldn't that just be between me and you? And I'm thinking about it like someone asked me to marry them. Like, no, obviously not. Like the dancing at a wedding. Like, I wouldn't do that. I think there'd be no dancing at my wedding that's not even happening that I'm still thinking about, because it's like I would just have one of those like bands with the red line in it, like no dancing, like I'm the town from Footloose. Just like they're too happy. Why are they dancing? Like the only type of dancing should be alone in your room with no one watching. That's what real dancing is. Come on.
Mhm.
Wait, no, do you guys like the show Queer Eye? Does anyone like the show Queer Eye?
Yeah. Makes me
Yeah, it's like
cry
so
every time.
uplifting. It's such an uplifting, feel-good show that I feel like every time the news gets sadder and more horrible, which is basically every day, I just think like Queer Eye needs to shove out like another season.
Yes.
But I don't think they should call it Queer Eye. I think they should call it Tear Eye.
Aw.
Happy tears. It makes you cry, right?
It does.
Speaking of shows, how about podcasts? You guys like podcasts? I'm basically obsessed with them. But I kind of feel like podcasts are kind of like indicative of where we are as society, just like really lazy. Like, do you want to have an hour-long conversation? No, my mouth hurts too much to talk. Do you want to listen to an hour-long conversation to feel like you're part of it, but you're really not?
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, that's what podcasts are. Look at all my friends. Oh, wait. Anyway, you know, I had this old boss, and he said the best thing ever. Really, the most like encouraging, great thing he said. I said, I do stand-up comedy, and he's like, women aren't funny. Then he would laugh at things I said. So I guess men aren't consistent. All right, that's all I'm gonna do for tonight. Thank you so much for having me. Have a great night.
Emma Paxton. Follow her on Instagram at Emma Paxton. There might be an underscore in there, but there might not be. So I'll find the right one and I'll put it in the chat for you. Oh, that was fun. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we're gonna stick to the New Jersey and then move to New York theme. But he insists he also lived in Colorado and Vermont, which are amazing, beautiful places. So you are lucky to get out and to get to explore and see the world and then decide, New York. All right, he's got a show. It's called Would You Rather. It's with Andre and Maggie. It's streaming on Comedy Hubs, Twitch, the second Tuesday of every month. Would you rather? Y'all remember that game. All right, everyone, please put your hands together right now for Andre Medrano.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm having an awesome time. This is a very, very well done show. I enjoy it quite a bit. At the beginning of quarantine, I was like a late adopter. I was kind of hesitant. Like the first time someone's like, do you want to do comedy on Zoom? I was like, I would literally rather fly coach. Now, I really enjoy it. You have a band, there's a clock. Everyone is funny, everybody's nice. Okay, let's get going. I'm a little bit bummed out that Chet Hanks already named the summer because like if you name the summer, the first person there gets it. It's like a high school nickname. There's no going back. It is White Boy Summer. That's the way it's going to be known. I'm particularly aggrieved because the last joke I was working on before quarantine was, do you think being Tom Hanks would be weird? Like it would be fun, but it could be a challenge because Tom Hanks has like the squeakiest, cleanest celebrity we have, but he has sons from 2 different marriages. And the first one is basically him, but like 30 years younger. The second one is if like blackface and affluenza went halvesies on a vaping startup and it became a and you know he's like convincingly Mr. Rogers, so publicly he's like, oh, I love all my children equally, but internally he's like, I should have fucking stopped after the first one. So pandemic ruined that, and then Chet got to name this summer, so I'm kind of bummed about that. But I think we're almost out of the pandemic. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I had my first dose of the vaccine. Most people I know do as well. I managed not to get it, knock on wood, but I'm very glad because I hate ERs for like the obvious reason, like the pain and suffering and existential dread and all that stuff. But also that question they ask you when you go to the emergency room where they're like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does it hurt? And you're like, I don't know, like a 2. And they're like, 2? This is an emergency room. People come here with real problems. Get the fuck out of here. But if you go the other way, it's not any better. You'd be like, I don't know, it's like a 9. And the doctor's like, 9? You rolled your ankle and it's a 9? 40 minutes ago, I pulled a steak knife from a man's sternum. I asked him the same question. He said, take 2 Tylenol, sleep it off. Basically, like, any way you answer it is an excuse for them to call you a baby. And you're there and you're like, I'm here for treatment, not humiliation. During the quarantine, I've been consuming a lot of content, as I'm sure everyone has. I also know that young kids make fun of The Office, which I watch like compulsively almost every day. And that's fine. You can make fun of it all you want. You're going to inherit a planet with dwindling resources and a looming race war. So knock yourself out, make fun of The Office. Also, Gen Z kids don't realize this, but they have like 50 years ahead of them where their entire personality is going to be half of high school I did from home. Like, live it up right now. Got really into art crime documentaries. They're the best kind of crime documentaries because very few people get hurt. So like you can root for the villain and it's not a bad thing. Also, all the victims are really rich and really dumb. So it's like, I'm not saying they deserve it, but they almost do. Like I saw that documentary Made You Look about the Nodler Gallery, I believe. And you know exactly what's going to happen. Like the woman who like gave away all the money, like in the second scene is like, yeah, I thought it was suspicious that this woman we were buying paintings from drove here from Long Island in a Honda Civic with a Jackson Pollock and like Rothko or whatever. But like she knew a lot about art. So I like trusted her and I signed over like tens of millions of dollars. I'm like, imagine if there was a murder documentary like that. Like I thought it was suspicious that every time someone went missing, there was a freshly dug grave in the backyard. But he was like, "Oh, I'm really into archaeology," so I believed him. I've never said anything on stage that wasn't funny in my head. So if you don't laugh, it hurts in my heart. But also, I like the idealized version of places that I see on Netflix. Like I want to travel, but to those places, like. I've watched a lot of noir shows. All of Scandinavia looks like a killing field. And I was like, wow, this is intense. And then I looked it up and it's all bullshit. All of Scandinavia put together is like 11 murders a year. So I was like, how are they so good at this genre? Then I realized they're like, oh, well, we're tall and pale. The sun never comes out. It's always cold here. We're halfway there. I was like, all right, cool. Then I was like, that's kind of like people who started comedy on Zoom. Like I've met people who have never done stand-up in real life and are legitimately like really funny on Zoom. And when like stand-up comes back, they're gonna be like, they don't know how to hold a mic and they're gonna look around the stage like a school shooter sort of, and everyone's gonna be like, look at this idiot. But they're also gonna have like 50,000 followers and we're gonna be at bar shows being like, please just buy a drink, just watch me tell jokes, please. Good for them. I'm gonna do one more thing about stuff I've been watching. Do you guys like English people? I'm a little bit torn. I've watched a lot of their television, but they're cool and I like their shows and their movies and everything, but they can be a little spooky. Like I've had 2 English people in real life. I'm not going to do the voice because that's racist, but I've had 2 English people in real life be like, would you like a biscuit? And I'm like, hell yeah, dog. And then they offer you like a chocolate chip cookie and just look at you like they did nothing wrong. And I'm like, I feel threatened right now. This is very uncomfortable. We have a new president and I hope he's good for comedy because the last guy was very good for the country, but I don't think he was that good for comedy. So, actually, I'm not surprised that Joe Biden won. I thought he was the best candidate from the very beginning. All of my friends disagreed at the beginning. They either wanted Bernie or Elizabeth Warren. And I asked them why they didn't like Biden, and they had the dumbest answers. They're like, oh, he's too old, he's dumb, he doesn't know anything about anything, he rambles on, he's kind of conservative. And I was like, this is the United States of America. All of those things are assets. Like not one of those things is a bad quality if you want to win the White House. And I can prove it to you. We love dumb presidents. Jimmy Carter was literally an engineer on a nuclear submarine. When he ran for president, he's like, I'm a peanut farmer from Georgia. And he won, because that's the way to play the game. And then he lost re-election because Reagan was like, trees cause pollution and ketchup is a vegetable. So you got to keep like stepping your game up, get like dumber and dumber every time. Like, I hope Biden doesn't even form sentences the next time he runs. Speaking of politics, I don't know what it's like to be stalked as a woman, but I did contribute $20 to Jamie Harrison, who ran for Senate in South Carolina, and he texted me back to say thanks. And then again, and then again, and then again, and again, and then again, and then again. I only have 15 minutes, but it goes on like forever. So think about that, Jamie. I've noticed like I'm taking COVID fairly seriously. Like I think we can survive, but I do think it's bad. And when someone who I disagree with politically also takes it seriously, everything else they say makes so much more sense. Like this dude who's my friend's boss was like, yeah, you know, like even if you get over it, there's lasting effects. Like it could damage your lungs forever. I'm like, exactly. And then he was like, capital gains taxes are human rights abuse. And I was like, absolutely. And then I heard myself. I was like, God damn, you are very convincing. I do believe you can be friends with people you disagree with politically. Big part of the reason I think that is when Richard Nixon left the White House, he was the only president who ever resigned. He tried to move to a co-op in Manhattan, and they're like, absolutely not. You're a war criminal. You're disgusting. You're both balding and hairy, which is weird. You're the only sweaty president we've ever had. No. So then he was like, where would a disgraced Republican president be welcome? And he moved to Upper Saddle River, New Jersey. And 10 years later, I was born there. So all of my earliest friends had parents who were like, Watergate's not that bad, dude. Come on in. And I've made a lot of conservative friends since then. It's very, very easy to know like which one is cool and which one is not. Like, you don't have to talk about politics, but you ask them once, like, why do you vote Republican? And if the answer is I love money, they're fine. Like, don't talk about other politics, but like they're fine. If it's anything else about like, the other stuff, maybe not. But there's cool conservatives, there's really shitty liberals. Every single libertarian is a breakup away from being a men's rights activist. There's two cool libertarians on earth. Kurt Loder from MTV News and my friend Justin from Asbury Park. And from them, like, I am. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I think I might be white. Like, I know I'm Hispanic, but I find myself getting really offended when people make fun of white shit and not like, what about white history month? Like, I'm not dumb or anything, but every time someone's like, oh, hockey's the least athletic sport, I'm like, ooh, ice skating is pretty hard, dude. Have you ever tried it? 4 edges on your feet, 2 on each one. It's not like running. It's pretty hard. But my mom is from Colombia. My father is from Argentina. And that just kind of means he's like a white guy who speaks Spanish, unless he gets angry and he speaks with his hands. But growing up, I only had one Hispanic friend until I was 15. He was also from Argentina. His name was Alex. And he was white, but like proper white man, not like Catholic or Jewish or white ethnic. Like, in the summer, he didn't burn or tan. He just turned golden. Looked like his natural habitat was the deck of a yacht. And I didn't start the rumor his grandfather was a Nazi war criminal, but I did not stop it either. So for a while, I didn't have any Hispanic friends. He lives in New Zealand now. He was good. My mom had 4 friends who were kidnapped in Colombia in like the 70s and 80s. Like, Colombia now is like Miami. Back then, it was very, very dangerous. One of her friends was rescued by the Colombian military. 2 of them paid the ransom. They got to go home. One of them was executed. Yikes. But when you think about it, those are pretty good odds. Like, if you were going to be taken hostage in a war-torn country and they're like, there's a 75% chance you're going home, you'd be like, that's better than marriage. Like, success rate. I'm doing it. Let's go. The only bad thing that ever happened to me there, I used to go there every summer, had nothing to do with insurgencies or cartels or anything. I was walking through a very affluent part of the city. And this guy sees me and he's like, gringo, gringo, vení, vení. And in retrospect, if you look like everyone around you and before you open your mouth, they know you're American, just fucking run. There's like no good way out of the situation. But I was like, oh, what's up, dude? You want to talk about soccer or something? And he pulled the knife out and was like, give me everything you have. And I gave him 80,000 Colombian pesos. It's like 5 American pesos, so it doesn't matter, but it's still traumatizing. And I came back and I was like, oh, dude, I'm a survivor. Like, Colombia is Spanish for Vietnam. This was before Iraq, and whatever, I forgot about it. Like 20 years later, I went to visit my friend in the hospital, and his dad was like, hey, remember when you walked around Latin America naked? And I was like, nope. And he's like, yeah, like when you're in Bogota, they took all your money and your clothes, but they let you keep your shoes so you could walk home. And I was like, one part of that story is true. And he's like, no, like Dave tells that story all the time. Everyone in our extended family has heard it. I was like, what? I should unplug these machines and let you die, but I won't. But I won't. For a while in my early 20s, I lived with a French drug dealer, and he had come to America when he was like 8. So by the time he was my roommate, he spoke fluent English, but we all pretended he didn't. And he would say stuff like, he'd be like, oh, you guys want to get pizza? Like, in that voice. And we'd be like, je parle pas, I do not understand what you're saying. And be like, I know you know what I'm saying. Do you want to get pizza? I'll pay for it. I'd be like, comment dit-on le Google Translate? And he was a good sport about it. He was very successful, but he was also very self-conscious. So one time we're at a party and we're all like ripping on him for being a criminal. And he's like, I'm not a fucking drug dealer. Everyone I know loves to party. So I buy more than I'm going to use for less than I paid, sell it for more than I paid, and I keep what's left over. I was like, oh, maybe you don't speak English, because that is the definition of a drug dealer. I'm going to do a character really quick, and then I have one more bit. This is former British Prime Minister Gordon Brown. Ooh, look at me. I'm a millennial. Everything offends me. Scene. I'm just going to say one more thing, and I'll get going. I was at a wedding somewhat recently, and the groom's mom, who I had not seen in like a decade, was like, do you know who you look like? And I was like, Man versus Food? And she's like, no, I don't know who that is. I was like, okay, guy from Super Troopers? And she's like, I have no idea what that is. And then I was like, younger, thinner, more handsome Vince Vaughn. And she was like, no, the bad guy in No Country for Old Men. And I was like, oh, I'm like partially Spanish descent. I can see why you'd say that. She's like, oh, no, not the actor. I've seen him in a million things, like the character specifically, and only in that movie. And I was like, oh, do you think I might like flip a coin and nail gun a bridesmaid in the face? And then she just said, thanks for coming. So thank you for having me, guys. Have a good night.
Andre Medrano, everyone, no longer in New Jersey either. Those are some fun characters, and I like how the English accent is racist, but the French one is not.
Yeah, that one's okay. That one's fine.
Oui, oui. Hell yeah. All right, well, we're gonna what? Cool. All right, we're gonna keep going. We have another comedian. I've been following her probably close to a year since we all kind of started to meet around that time. She has a really neat Instagram, and I think it's definitely worth following. If you don't follow it, you totally should. She does some really cool stuff. I'm not going to tell you. I want you to find out on your own. She's here right now. Y'all are excited. I can't wait. Everyone, please put your hands together right now for Ashley Guterman.
Thank you so much. Andre, I know you turned your camera off, but I'm still going to say these things to that gray screen. You're back. The hockey. Who would say that hockey is a non-athletic sport? That's somebody that has never even watched hockey. That's insane. I played hockey for a little bit. You have to have an insane amount of endurance just to put on the pads. Just lacing up the boots. You got to have hand strength. It's crazy. I started playing on a women's hockey team when I had only previously ice skated at children's birthday parties. There's a whole lot of confidence in this brain. And so what happened was, for the first few games, what I would do is I would skate really, really hard, and then I would fall on my face. And it's just, ice is hard. I don't know if you guys know that. Helmets are a good idea. I think that French guy was a pharmacist. He sounds a lot more like a pharmacist than a drug dealer to me. I don't know. And also, I was just curious if you had a Tony Blair impression.
Not yet. Only Gordon Brown.
No, the Gordon Brown. All right, we'll work on the prime ministers. We'll go maybe Winston Churchill. Maybe we'll work on it. We'll work on it. You guys are great. Thank you so much for being here. It's wonderful to see you all. I did a show yesterday, and it did not go well. It was like I could hear people in the audience talking, and that's how I know I'm doing super well as a comedian. When the audience just entertains themselves, it's good. That's how you know it's good. Anyway, so there's this woman, and she looked at me, and then she looked at her friend, and you know what she said? I'll tell you what she said. Okay, this is what she said. She said, I can't believe that she's not a lesbian. Looks like you guys can't believe it either. Okay, great start.
I mean,
Sorry. It's all right. It's all right. You're not alone. You know who thinks that too? Well, my friends. Yeah. And it's because who they keep trying to set me up with, right? My parents. That was a good one. That was a good conversation. And who else? Oh, my husband. Yeah. First time we met, that one stung. That one stung a little bit. I am married, and my husband, a man. Remember, I need to say that slowly, just in case anybody here is on heart medication. Just keep it. I don't need to be sued. I try only to get booked at places that have a defibrillator. It's just my policy. That's just it's on my rider. Bottled water, defibrillator. It's a huge expense. My husband is 20 years older than I am. Yeah, that's pretty big. You know, if you think about it, if our age difference was a person, it would be old enough to vote, but not drink. So legally, you know, like our age difference would totally drink illegally. Like that's it's just his personality. My husband and I, we get along really well, which is nice. You know, you know how they say that dogs are a man's best friend? Well, I'm an old man's best friend. And I think that's nice. Just think it's nice. Sometimes people, though, they like to get in my face. You know, they're like, why did you marry an older man? Like, don't you want a man your age that you can just watch play Xbox? Yeah. I prefer mine. I watch him play Atari. No, I married an older man because it fits in with my hobbies, which are mostly hearing the same story over and over and over. Just practice my face. It's like, oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, no, you didn't say it before. No. Also, and plucking ear hair, like that's a favorite. Just that's a good afternoon right there. Spend your Sundays. I don't know. I don't know why people care, but they do. They are judgmental sometimes about me being married to an older guy. But like, I'm here to tell you, really, believe me, it wasn't my goal. It wasn't, you know, I wasn't wishing on a star for an old man. Just, like blowing out my birthday candles. Just, Ashley, what did you wish for? Well, we'll see. You know, I didn't have it on my vision board. I didn't. What would that look like though? It would just be like an old man hunkered over, right? Bald, cane, prune juice. You know, my mom walks in and she's like, Ashley, what's that? What you doing there? And I'm like, oh, Mom, that's my retirement plan. That's what that is right there. She's like, well, at least you're planning. Good job. Well done. It wasn't my goal. I never had a guidance counselor like take me aside and be like, Ashley, when you grow up, what do you want to do? He's from Jersey. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do I want to do? I don't know. What do I want to do? I don't know. An older man? Got any of those? Got any pamphlets? Get out? Yeah, I can get out. Yeah, that's fine. Never did it. Never had that happen. So this 20-year age difference, right? I told somebody that we had this big age difference and they were trying to be nice. I believe they were trying to be nice. And they just said, oh my goodness, is your husband 32? Okay. Let me do the math. I'm not great at math, but let me do the math here. 32 minus 10. No. No, I'm not 12. Otherwise, I'd be saying my husband is 20 years older than me and in jail. That's, and that would be fair. That'd be fair. There's this other guy. He typed this in a Zoom chat. He really wanted me to see this, right? He types, he's 20 years older than you. Oh, wow. 10 more years and you can stop pretending you're straight. I was like, oh my God, 10 more years. Okay. Well, all right. That's a lot of us. There's a lot of assumptions there. So this is a fun fact. 1% of all married people in the world have a 20-year age difference. Just 1%. Guys, I'm finally part of the 1%. Yeah. Finally did it. 20-year age difference. So 20-year age differences actually have a 95% failure rate. 95%. Boy, are we dreamers, right? Isn't that nice? It's just sweet. It's like, no, you're a bunch of idiots. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hope you signed a prenup. No. When we got married, we walked into the courthouse and the judge was just like, hang on, you need this. Just handed us divorce papers. Like, There you go, you idiots. What are you thinking? Come on. Come back in a week and I'll help you out. 95% failure rate. We also have a stepson. My husband just calls him son. But because my husband brought a kid into the relationship, it raises our chance of divorce because step families have a 60% failure rate. Plus, don't forget I'm gay. According to the world. So I told my husband, I said, hey, did you know that we have a 150% chance of getting divorced? And he was like, Ashley, that's I was like, I know now that's not how math works. Okay. He goes, Ashley, I'm not going to divorce you 1.5 times. Like I didn't marry you for your math skills. Okay. And that's true. He didn't marry me for my math skills. He married me because when we got together, I had long hair and wore dresses. Tricked him. That's what you do, guys. Come on. This is how we do it. You bait him in. My hair was my bait, right? Once I caught the fish, chop it off. That's what you do. That's what you do. Fortunately, like he loves it, right? He tells me he loves it. That's what I told him to say. He can keep he can keep his real opinion to himself. It doesn't matter, right? Keep that deep down inside. People call me, I've been called a gold digger more times than I can remember. I'm not a gold digger. I am an old man prospector. Yeah, right there. Gold digger. Come on. My husband is in the military. He's in the military. Okay. You know what you don't hear all that often? Oh, I married a military man for the money. Give me those cheap groceries. All right. I want BX privileges. All right. Come on, do it. Combat pay? Yeah. Let's do it. Deploy my husband for 7 months so that I can get $70 a month. That's awesome. No, you don't marry a military man for the money because most of that money will be spent on those little American flag pins. It's a huge expense. They lose them all the time. And haircuts. That's another big one. I married a military man because I am patriotic. Not a patriot. That's turned into a weird thing. Not that. Because I'm patriotic, right? So if you just married like an accountant, you got to ask yourself how much you love your country. Think about it. Ask not what your country can do for you, but who you can do for your country. That's right. Veterans Day and Memorial Day. I'm there for them twice a year. That's people say gold digger like there's no work involved. Come on. You think this is easy? You ever try to dig? Like it's manual labor right there. Okay, so here's the thing. We all know any beautiful, like long-haired, blonde idiot can convince a bald, hairy 50-year-old man to buy her a drink, right? We know this. It's fine. It's a fact. But it is a whole new level to convince him to give you half his retirement. That's skill. That's skill. It takes time. I was like, hey, I know that you worked your whole life for that pension, but I don't believe in prenups. It's just not romantic. It's not for me. I'm not a gold digger. Before I met my husband, I had a good job. I had a house. He had a better house. So you got to use your business mind on that one. I wore pantsuits, guys. Like gold diggers don't wear pantsuits. I don't think.
No.
I don't think that happens. I don't think so. I try not to talk about being married to an older guy to men my husband's age like too much because you can see the hope just form in their eyes. A unicorn? It exists. I thought this was only in films. They're like, they say the same thing. They always go, do you by any chance have a sister? Like, no, I don't have a sister. But even if I did, what are the chances that she would also have severe daddy issues? I took those for the family. I took that one for the team. They'll be like, oh, can I talk to your husband? I just want to ask him how he did it. My husband had nothing to do with it. Nothing. I pounced on him like he was a gazelle. Took him down. We didn't so much date as we did film a nature documentary. You know, it would be great to have David Attenborough like narrate that, right? That'd be amazing. Like, and now the young woman sees the man. Does he need reading glasses? He does. He's of the appropriate age. He's wearing a suit jacket. Let's see what happens. Will he live long enough to provide her a lifetime of assistance? We can only hope. We can only hope. Thank you so much for having me. You've all been wonderful. My name is Ashley Gutermuth. Have a good evening. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Woo.
Thank you. That was hilarious. I could have listened to you for another hour. Well, I'll definitely have to keep in touch and do world tours together somehow. Woo! Hell yeah, that was great. We're gonna do a quick lightning round. So one comedian's gonna do 3 minutes, another one's gonna do 2, one more is gonna do 1, and then I'm gonna say goodbye and good night, but not yet. Please put your hands together for Katie Zane.
Thanks so much, Brooke. Yeah, I'm having an interesting week. I am eating and prepping to go tell Chicago cops that they're not good at their jobs. I got a new oven because our oven broke, but like I didn't get a new oven, like my apartment got a new oven because I rent. And the thing is, like, when I told people my oven was broken, people were like, ooh, very exciting. And I was like, no, I don't get to decide. And it's not like I live in a luxury building. It's not going to be nice. Like, there's nothing to look forward to here. And I was correct. I went from having a digital readout, preheat settings, timers, to a white surface that has nothing on it, to a dial oven. And I am so angry about it that I talked to my therapist about it. I spent 15 minutes of my therapy session today to talk about my oven because that's how upset I am. I'm trying to cook with it right now and testing it out. We'll see what happens. I'm very pissed that I have to buy a thermometer for my oven because there's no way of knowing otherwise. There's no way of, I also have to, the thing that I'm most upset about, yes, I'm talking about my oven this long in a bit. That's what's happening. But like the top of it, I used to use for like mugs with my utensils and shit, right? This new one, not only does it not have a digital readout, it has a useless rounded surface on top. Like, why is it rounded? Like, why? Manufacturers, I would like to know, why did you make a useless surface in someone's kitchen? Like, they're already poor. Like, they already just have the dial situation happening. Give them a surface for their cups. Like, just something. Something. I have realized the perfect way to explain to people like how poor I am, like where I'm at and like the socioeconomic levels or whatever. Like I am poor enough yet have enough money to buy sushi, but I cannot afford to buy it from the place that guaranteed does not have sketchy fish. Because everyone here who has lived in the Midwest or currently still lives in the Midwest, not near an ocean, you know it's dicey when you get fish here. Like, and when I first moved to the Midwest, I actually had vowed to not eat the fish. I was like, I'm not eating it. And then it turns out you can't go that long and you just have to make a decision like, okay, I might get a parasite, but it is sushi. And when you're really poor, you do this weird entitlement thing about rich people things. You're like, I deserve the sushi, even if it's going to give me food poisoning. Like, but I am entitled to it. I'm just entitled to that choice. So give me that $3 sushi roll, please. And that's real. That's a real place that's near my house. I've been Katie Zane. Thank you so much.
Hello. My name is Ira Claiborne. I grew up in Augusta, Georgia, and then I moved to New York right after college. What a low bar to set, right? Just start off in the Big Apple, the greatest city alive. And I knew nothing because I was from Georgia, right? So that was crazy. City that never sleeps in my southern podunk ass. I had to learn that you have to plan your life by restroom breaks. I guess that mostly only applies to women over a certain age and then me. Because you dudes can whip out your willy and pilly, which is cool. I wish I could do that. But I then moved to Boston. Okay, at least the Big Apple has apples. Like, what's Boston's thing? Beantown. Fucking Beantown. I thought that was at least coffee beans. No, that's fucking baked beans, you guys.
Ew.
Boston's big tout is baked beans. That's how I feel too. And I don't know how I feel about living here because it is not my favorite food to eat. I'll eat fish, probably not in the Midwest, but I'm not going to eat the fucking baked beans. All right, I'm going to stop shitting on Boston a little. But I will say that, Ashley, I thought you were gay too. My gaydar is obviously really off. I'm slightly disappointed. If you ever need transitional services for anything, I am known to have a pretty high turnover rate. I can slip you my digits later, though. My name's Ira Claiborne. Thank you, guys.
Nick
Hello,
Lindman.
I'm Nick Lindemann. Great to be here. Thank you for squeezing me in. I got 1 minute, not a lot to do much, but I'm gonna make it work. I actually, for a while there, I had a girlfriend that was 19 years my senior. She's officially a senior now because I'm getting up there. It actually worked well. It lasted twice as long as my marriage did. 4 times as long if you go by the time we actually enjoyed each other's company. So you never know. It could work out. Those probabilities are just probabilities, not commandments. You got to make it work. You got to try every day. That being said, I would not be interested in dating someone in their early 20s. No, thank you. Maybe one date, that would be fun, but not enough to set up a Snapchat or do anything long term. No, thank you. One other dating advice, found out after I got married that the wife's plan was to disregard everything we said about how we wanted to live and break me down and remold me in her image. And if that's your plan, don't pick someone smarter and more emotionally stable than you are. Not gonna go great. Gonna need that prenup. That's been my time. Thank you.
Oh yeah, that was a comedy show. Keep it going for Nick and Ira and Katie. And at the beginning we had the tutors and me. I know. And then Emma and Andre. Yeah, and then Ashley. Woo! This has been a really, really fun show. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next Friday. Same time, same place, different cast. Everyone stay safe, stay healthy. Check out some more comedy shows tonight. I know there's a few more. Thank you guys.